So let's get through it straight away. Let's get to it straight away. Manchester United obviously playing Saturday, early kickoff, 12:30. And you know what it is? It's actually crazy to think that United had the early game against Brentford away. And if United was to win this game, United could actually find themselves in fourth place, I think, on goal difference. I think they're on, what, 7 points now from 5 games. Is it 5 games they played? Yeah, I think 7. Yeah, 7 points from 5 games. And as I said, if they win this game against Brentford, they could find themselves in fourth position, which, to be honest with you, is actually crazy. And I don't know how United find themselves at the moment. They could be in what? They're 3 points off of fourth, which is madness considering how bad the team's played. If you think of the two results they've got against Burnley and against Chelsea, I think both games you can look at as well as two games that definitely they've been fortunate in them games for me. Big up to Barbara Josephs. Says, hey Gav, how you doing? Yeah, I'm all good. All good. Just just chilling today. Thought I'd give you guys a stream this morning, But yeah, no, apart from that, I'm all good. I'm all good. Hope everyone's doing well also, Thursday morning, and obviously weekends near. So yeah, can't complain really. Can't complain. But as I said, Manchester United versus Brentford, early kickoff. And again, we're going to go through, the team selection. We're going to go through how important this game really is for Ruben Amorim. Because I do believe, this is a game that Amorim cannot afford to lose. And I've been saying, big up to Agnes as well. I've been saying, for me, if Amorim doesn't get, a positive result against either Brentford or Sunderland, how possibly can he stay at Manchester United? And I think that's not too unfair to say. I think these are two teams that most Manchester United fans will be looking at as teams that United should be beating. And do I see United getting 6 points? I don't, I have to be honest, because I'm just looking at the fact that, this manager for me is failing, and as I said, I don't say nothing from that Chelsea game. I think, as I said before, Robert Sanchez did kill them. And it's one of them things now where can Amorim get back-to-back wins for the first time in his Manchester United career? And Brentford's not going to be easy. I think Brentford lost the last game against Fulham away 3-1. And again, they actually took a 1-0 lead, funny enough, as well. But I think at home, they've shown at home they're no pushovers. I think the last home game they drew against Chelsea, and I expect them to be, a problem at home on Saturday again for Manchester United. So, yeah, as I said, man, I think it's going to be a tough game for United. If I'm honest, looking at United's most recent performances, I think the best they can hope for is a draw, which for me won't be good enough. But I think in terms of the team selection, which we're going to go through in a minute, team selection for me is going to be important. And I mean, just knowing what this manager's like and the kind of players he likes, I think there's two players that have just come off injury. And, it'd be very interesting to see, obviously, later in a bit when I go through the team, who he's going to play, But I think, yeah, it's a massive game for United for many reasons. As I said, they can go into the top four with a win, which is just ridiculous, really, considering, as I said, the performance of the team. A lot of people think that United actually played well against Chelsea, and either these people are just Amorim defenders, or they're just people that don't really understand the game, because from that game was probably one of the worst games from meant to be a top game that I've seen. There was no quality really. I mean, the game was spoilt by Robert Sanchez's decision to take out Mbuemo. And then, as we know, Enzo Maresca, what was he doing with those substitutions, which was criminal in terms of taking off, his two wide attackers, and then having to take off Cole Palmer anyway because he was injured. So I think Robert Sanchez ruined that game in the first place, and then Maresca compounded it really with those substitutions. So I don't take nothing away from that game to say that Man United, deserved that win. I think down to 10 men. I think if it was the other way around, if Chelsea were got United down to 10 men, then who's to say that Chelsea wouldn't have won that game either. So, but I think the most important thing is that when they went back down to 10 versus 10, you can clearly see who the better team was, and it was Chelsea. And Chelsea actually won that second half 1-0. So these are the kind of things that people need to be aware of, and again, going into this Brentford game, there's going to be some key battles that certain players, for me, would need to be playing, and I think they will do as well. So we're going to go through the lineup. And again, guys, make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you sub to the channel if you're new, and let me know what you think Ruben Amorim's lineup is going to be. So we're going to go through it now. So in goal, for me, he's going to play Bayinde. I think Bayinde keeps his place. The very fact that Lemens wasn't an Amorim signing, he didn't really want him. And the fact that Bayinde obviously was in goal when they won the game against Chelsea 2-1. Bayinde is going to keep his place, so I don't expect any changes there. The back three is going to be interesting. And Lenny Yoro was on the bench against Chelsea. Lenny Yoro comes back in and starts, and I'll tell you why. Because if you look at Brentford's attack, you got Kevin Schade. Yeah, Kevin Schade is very quick. So to counteract Schade's pace, Amorim's going to play Lenny Yoro as the right-sided centre-back for this game. I know Yoro didn't play against Chelsea, but Yoro's going to start against Brentford 100% on that right side. And I think he's going to play De Ligt and Shaw. I think the back three is going to be De Ligt, Shaw, Lenny Yoro. I know Maguire came in against Chelsea, but Maguire for me is not going to start. I'll be very surprised if Ruben Amorim doesn't start Lenny Yoro, because there's no way for me Lenny Yoro can be missing 2 games in a row. And against someone like Kevin Schade that has pace, he's definitely, for me, going to be someone that is going to play for me. I think purely to counteract Schade's pace. So I think Maguire's on the bench. I think, it'll be Lenny Yoro, De Ligt, and Luke Shaw again. The 2 wing-backs, Dallow's still out injured. So I don't think Ahmad actually starts, funny enough. I don't think Ahmad starts, And again, if you guys haven't seen my stream yesterday on Ahmad, why Ahmad needs Amorim to be sacked if he's to fulfill his potential, this is part of the reason. Ahmad doesn't start, not because Ahmad's not good enough. It's because this system kills him, with his playing as a wing-back. And also, you can't be playing Ahmad and Mbuemo as 2 10s. Both of them are left-footed. And as we've mentioned previously, one wants to come out to the right, who's actually a winger, and the other is left-footed. And if he plays as a left 10, he's more naturally going to go onto the left-hand side. So this is part of the reason for me why Ahmad will get dropped. And Ahmad's going to get dropped for Mason Mount. So I've kind of given you guys the clue already, especially because they're away from home as well. So I think the 2 wing-backs are going to be Mazraoui on the right and Dorgu on the left. I'll be very surprised if it isn't them 2. I mean, if you look at the way that Brentford do set up as well, Brentford do play with their wing-backs quite high. I think Keane Lewis-Potter normally plays as the left wing-back. I think Rico Henry's obviously naturally left wing-back, but obviously he's been out injured for a while. And then the right wing-back, I think, is Michael Coyote. So their wing-backs will be very high up the pitch. And I think he's going to play, as we know, a back 5 against Brentford. I'll be very surprised if Ahmad starts, put it that way. Big up to Broderick each and every time. Big up, my guy. So, yeah, as I said, I think Ahmad doesn't play. I think Ahmad gets dropped. And as I said, the very fact that we're talking about Ahmad, who, again, hasn't been great this season, but the very fact that we're talking about one of United's best players and him potentially being dropped just shows you the reason why I just can't deal with having this manager in charge any longer. So so yeah, as I said, I think Dorgu left wing back, Mazraoui right wing back, the two in midfield. Well, Casemiro is suspended, so Ugarte definitely comes in. So if there's anyone thinking that Kobbie Mainoo's gonna play, Kobbie Mainoo's not gonna play. He's not. So it's gonna be Ugarte and Bruno again in the central midfield. Um, and then the two tens is gonna be Embuemo, Mason Mount, and then Matthias Cunha through the middles, which leaves again Kobbie Mainoo, Joshua Zirkzee, Benjamin Sesko, Ahmad all on the bench. And you would arguably say that lineup that I think Amorim's going to play, you would arguably say the bench is stronger than the lineup. How many times have we been saying that? So yeah, as I said, I definitely do think that it's a case of, that's the team he's going to go with. And again, you can see from my expressions, I'm just disengaged really, because I can see him playing that team and I can see the same old shit, a boring performance, and I won't be satisfied if United nick a win. I just wouldn't. So yeah, as I said, man, it's one of them things where yeah, I'll be very surprised if he doesn't play that, But guys, let me know what you think of the team Amorim's going to play, because I think I'm pretty confident, I've got close to that team. I think definitely he plays Dorgu and Mazraoui. Mazraoui wasn't great against Chelsea, but I do think away from home, the manager, as we know, is a coward anyway. So he's going to go more cautious. And I think he's going to play Mazraoui and Mason Mount. And again, the reason why I think Mason Mount plays is because of his legs. And again, this is what the manager just loves. He just loves legs in the midfield. He loves legs in the attack as well. I look at that team and I think there's not too much quality there, really. The quality is going to come from, you would think, Embuemo and Cunha. But the majority of the quality is on the bench in Ahmad, Mainoo, Zirkzee. Especially, and again, people that thinking that Sesko's going to play, the fact that Mount and Cunha are back and they both come on as well against Chelsea, I definitely think both of them are going to start, because as we know, Amorim's under pressure, and Amorim's going to play the players that he feels that will, in a sense, run through a brick wall for him, I think with Cunha and Embuemo, they're different because Cunha and Embuemo are not run through the brick wall kind of players, but they're the big money signings, and obviously they've proven that they can score goals in this league. So they're two players that are going to play regardless when they're fit. But the other guys that are not going to play, this is why I have the problem. And it's especially in this system, because as immediately, if you change this system, yeah, you've got literally about three out of the four of those players that will be on the bench that start instantly under a new manager, under different systems. So this is why, for me, yeah, it's one of them things where I just don't know what to make of this game. I think that United have quality players that should be playing, that can get the result. But if the team is what's to be expected with what Amorim's going to do, then again, I just don't trust what's going to happen, And I think that Chelsea game should be a massive eye opener as to the problems, definitely, Broderick says Leacher is the only one out. No excuses for the manager come lunchtime Saturday. I agree, my guy. I agree. Yeah, Lissandro is the only one that's not fully fit. So the manager's got a near enough full team to pick from, and as I said, there's no excuses. As I said, I expect 6 points, nothing less than 6 points for me. And I think if he gets anything less than 6 points, I don't believe he should be seeing Liverpool. I'm seeing people say that, he's gotten to the next international break, which personally I don't really agree with, because we said this last time. We said this last time that he had the international break where he could have got sacked, The The fact that people are waiting to the international break now, who's to say they sack him then? You know, and again, we don't really know what is in Ineos's thinking. You know, because as we know, it's their manager that they've actually chosen. So we don't know if they want to give him every possible opportunity to succeed. But I just personally think if he doesn't get 6 points against Brentford and Sunderland, and then you've got Liverpool, Brighton, um, Nottingham Forest, and Tottenham coming up, why would you be confident having Ruben Amorim in charge still if you're not beating the likes of Brentford and Sunderland? You know, so these are the things, you know. Big up to Daniela as well. Big up. But guys, let me know what team you think. Let me know what team you think United are going to play in the chat. Let me know. But yeah, it's a must-win game for me, 6 points. And, you know, if Amorim doesn't get 6 points in these two games, you know, I don't want to hear no one tell me he needs to play Liverpool, because if it's nothing less than 6 points and he somehow happens to see Liverpool and they get beat, you know, that's just throwing games away for me, you know. So, yeah, I'm not of the opinion that this manager deserves to be in charge if he doesn't get 2 wins, you know. I think I've kept fairly consistent throughout, you know. I said start of the season, I'm going to give him, you know, the first 3 games, which was Arsenal, Fulham, and who's the other team? No, was it Arsenal? Yeah. Oh, well, no, I said 5 games, sorry. I said Arsenal, Fulham, Burnley, City, and Chelsea. You know, and I said, for me, Amorim needs to at least get 8 points, you know, and he got 7. So, again, unacceptable. You know, the 2 wins, you know, if you think Man City and Arsenal, he lost. Burnley and Chelsea, he won. And then the Fulham game, he drew. So, yeah, 7 points out of 5 isn't good enough for me, because Burnley, that's to be expected. The Chelsea one was fortunate, and the draw against Fulham. But if we look at literally the Fulham game, Fulham, they should have lost, which they got a draw. The Burnley one, they should have drawn, which they got a win. And the Chelsea one, if we're being honest, you know, that game could have been a draw, you know. But again, it was disrupted because of the sending off of Robert Sanchez, and they got a win in that one. So, yeah, I think it's only fair, man, that these next 2 games, you know, it's a win. It's a win. 6 points is a must for me, you know. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. But as I said, guys, I think the threats for Brentford, you know, I've mentioned already Kevin Schade. I think Kevin Schade is going to be key, you know, with his pace. And is it Igor Thiago, who's a striker, that's replaced Johan Visser? You know, I think those 2 together will be a problem. I was going to say the manager might play Harry Maguire, but because of Thiago's physical presence. But I think the Ligt plays, and as I said, Lenny Yoro has to play for his pace up against Schade. Because the way Brentford have been playing for 2, you know, with Schade and Thiago playing up top together. So you're going to need someone that's got pace to try and compete with Schade. And out of all those defenders, obviously Lenny Yoro is the quickest, so he has to play for me. I'll be very surprised and I'll be pissed off if I see a back 3 of De Ligt, Maguire, and Shaw. I don't think he's going to do that again, and I'm just hoping he doesn't. Because if he does that, then if they get beat, he needs to be out of this club quicker than anything, because that would be unacceptable, you know. And I think it'll cause problems because, as I said, with Sharda's pace. I think in terms of Brentford's team, you know, obviously Jordan Henderson, with his experience, will be in there. And he'll be up against the likes of Bruno and Ugarte in there. So if I'm looking at Henderson and is it Vitali Yanel that might play in there? Or they've got, who's the other player? Yanel, I can't remember the other midfielder. But they might have those 2 in the midfield up against Bruno and Ugarte. I think the wing backs, as I said already, Coyote and Lewis Potter, who probably play there. You know, they're good, honest players that get up and down the pitch, you know, and I think the battle against Dorgu and Coyote will actually be key because Dorgu, as we know, has the physicality and the pace. And to be fair, Coyote, you know, he's quite physical himself. So that'll be a good battle on that left-hand side for Man United against Coyote at right back or right wing back. Lewis Potter up against Mazraoui, I think. I think Lewis Potter is going to cause him problems. Because Lewis Potter, you know, is very he's quite direct, you know, up and down the pitch. So I think he'll cause Mazraoui a few issues. But as we know, Mazraoui defensively is very good. But in this system as a wing back, you know, it isn't his strongest, to be fair. Big up to Lumi Rain. Big up Lumi for coming through. Big up to Not Brett May as well. Says Brentford will beat United. Listen, I'm not going to disagree, man. I'm not confident, I'll be honest. You know, a Man United fan, you know, that goes into Man United versus Brentford game on Saturday at 12:30. I think if you're honest, you can't be confident because I'm not confident because I don't think we haven't got the players. Because I think I look at the likes of Ahmad, Xerxes, Cunha, Mbeumo, Kobbie Mainoo, especially as the attackers. You know, I'll be going into any game with those attackers thinking, yeah, we can do something. But this manager's not going to play the right balance. He's not going to play the right players. So again, we can't be. I'm not confident that United get a positive result because again, I've already been through the team. Again, let me know what team you think that Amorim's going to play. But the team I think he's going to play, you know, which is going to be, as I said, for those of you that have missed it, you know, I think Bayinde will be in goal. I think the back three will be and has to be Lenny Yoro. It's going to be De Ligt and Luke Shaw. I think he drops Ahmad from the 10 and plays Mason Mount, which means you're going to have Mazraoui right wing back, Dorgu left wing back, Bruno and Ugarte in midfield because Casemiro suspended, which means no Kobbie. And then you're going to have the 2 10s of Mason Mount and Brian Mbeumo. And then you've got Cunha up top. I think that's how he's going to go. And if that's the team he goes with, I'm not too sure, put it that way. Because I'm the only reason I'm saying I'm not too sure is because when you look at Cunha and Mbeumo, you know, you have to be confident with those kind of players in the team. But I just don't know, man. I just don't know. Because there's too many quality players on the bench. And the bench is stronger than the actual starting 11 if he does go with that team. So, yeah, who knows, man. Big up to Lumi Rain. Big up to Exedra. Big up, my guys, each and every time. Big up. So Lumi says, Gav, did you watch our game last night? Listen, I knew that was coming. Do you know what? I didn't watch the game, but I see the goals, Eze and Trossard. And I mean, the thing is, am I surprised that Arsenal have beaten Port Vale? I'm not. You know, I know people can start making jokes that United got beat by Grimsby, etc. But yeah, listen, Arsenal's squad as a whole against the Port Vale, they should be doing that. You know, I would have expected more goals personally, but yeah, they done what they needed to do. You know, and again, Eze showing why, you know, he should be playing the 10. You know, if there's any Arsenal fan that thinks Eze shouldn't be playing the 10, like I would love to hear it because Arteta's got a problem because Eze is not that effective on the left. And it means if he plays the 10, he's got to drop his captain Odegaard. So these are the kind of things, man, that managers are judged by. So, but yeah, listen, Eze's a top player. You know, Trossard coming on again and getting a goal. And it's crazy to think that you've got Trossard and what's his name? Trossard and I'm pretty sure Trossard was on the bench, wasn't he? Or did he start? But it's mad to think that you've got Trossard and Martinelli, 2 guys that, you know, their futures have come into question. You know, both of them have got 2 goals in their last 2 games, which is mad. Or in Trossard's sense, in Trossard's case, 2 and 3. Or sorry, both of them have got 2 goals in the last 3 games. So it's crazy to think that now, you know, with those 2 players that people might be looking at as bench options. So, but yeah, listen, they've got Newcastle, I believe. Is it Saturday evening? I think they're playing Newcastle. Now, this is a game where we're going to see if Arteta has learned anything against the Man City game. Because I'll be honest with you, yeah, we all know that Newcastle are going to play a midfield three of Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes and Joe Linton. We know that. And we know the front three is going to be Anthony Gordon, Anthony Elanga, and then it'll probably be either Walter Marder or Harvey Barnes. I think Walter Marder starts. I think they need to start Walter Marder through the middle, Newcastle, and play Gordon from the left, Elanga from the right, and that midfield three that we mentioned. Now, if Arsenal go to St James's Park and play Marino, Rice, and Zubamendi again, you know, what are we going to learn from what Arteta's done against Man City? And the answer will be nothing, because Arsenal need to be winning games like that. You know, the Man City game where he didn't start Eze, that was a game thrown away. Because if you're going to win a title, those are the kind of games you have to win. And let's not forget as well, that was Man City at home. You know, the Newcastle game, you know, if you pick up a point, I think a lot of fans will be saying, do you know what? It's a good point, because Newcastle are a hard team to play away from home, you know. But I look at the fact that, look at Champions League for argument's sake. You know, Barcelona went there and got the win, 2-1. And if Arsenal want to have any chance of being in the conversation for the title, going to Newcastle and winning is where it's going to be at, because you won't find many teams in the league that go to St James's Park and win. So this is where it's going to be testing times for Arteta. And as I said, do I think they go to Newcastle and win? It's about intent. It's about intent. The lineup that Arteta chooses will show me the intent that he's got in that game. So I think personally, I can just see now he's going to match up Newcastle. I think Eze plays, but I can see him playing Eze from the left to pack out that midfield, because he needs three in there that are going to compete with the three of Joe Linton, Bruno and Tonali. Whereas if he plays Eze in the 10, that now gives the likes of a Tonali, who might be playing as the deepest player, something to think about. So yeah, that's one to watch. Arsenal were poor last night, still got the job done. Again, I didn't see the game, not Brett May. I didn't see it. So, you know, I just see the goals, you know, two good goals, to be fair. But again, it's Port Vale, man. We're expecting them to be doing that, if we're honest, you know. So yeah, I think next round they've got Brighton. They've got Brighton at home, so that won't be easy, you know. And I think if Brighton are serious, yeah, Brighton should be targeting the Carabao Cup as a tournament, as a cup to win, because let's face it, they're not going to get relegated. They're not going to get into the Champions League, really. They're not. So a cup is what they should be targeting. And I think when they play up against Arsenal at the Emirates, you know, they should go there with a strong team. The difference is, I don't believe Arsenal go there with their first 11, because I think they'll have eyes, obviously, on Champions League and the league by the time that game comes around. So we're going to see, though. We're going to see. Lumi says, Trossard and Mane are both trying to stake a claim in the first 11, both looking good lately. Yeah, listen, I think that might be due to them being impact subs. You know, I think that left-hand side, there's a problem for Arsenal, I believe. And it's crazy to think the money they've spent in the summer window, to think that that left-hand side is a problem, because Eze being brought in, Eze's not a left winger. I said this at the start of the summer. When they were linked with Eze was never someone that's going to be a left winger. Because if you look at the way he played with Palace didn't play with a 10. Because if they played with a 10, he would be the central 10. So him and Ismail Assar more or less played as in a fourth Eze played more of a left 10, and Sarr played as a right 10, but Sarr was more of a winger in that system. Because again, when you're playing with wing backs, you're not really a winger, because the width comes from the wing backs. So Sarr and Eze both played, you know, inverted in a sense. Well, not inverted, but they both played more infield. Eze played as more as a 10, but from the left. And as I said, Sarr was more of a winger, but started as a 10, as a right 10, in a sense, behind Mateta. So the fact that, you know, they brought Eze in, who's a 10, Martinelli, you know, there's been question marks over him. The same with Trossard. Madueke, as we knew, was brought in more or less as backup to Saka, but he's actually been more effective than Saka, but he's out injured now. I think Saka got a little knock as well. So whether Saka makes it for the Newcastle game, I'm not sure. And again, this is where the problems come now, because if you're looking at Madueke being out for the Newcastle game, Saka not being fully fit, this is when now, does he play Wanyeri out there? Does he play Dalman out there? Does he play Eze in the 10? Is Odegaard fit enough now to play? Then you got Martinelli or Trossard on the left-hand side, who haven't pulled up any trees. So, again, Arsenal have got a problem now in the sense of a few injuries. So, let's see what they're going to do, man. Let's see. Obviously, Gyökeres will come back into it. And this game, I'll be honest with you, I'll be watching Gyökeres very closely, because whenever Gyökeres comes up against, competent defenders, centre-backs, physical centre-backs, he's often found wanting, So if you look at City, he was nowhere to be seen. Man United, he got bullied by De Ligt. Liverpool, he was bullied by Van Dijk and Konate. And now he's going to be coming up against, you would think, Dan Burn and Fabian Schär. I think if Schär's not fit, then you got Malik Tior or you've got Sven Botman. But Sven Botman's left-footed, and I hate seeing a left-footed centre-back play on the right-hand side. So I think Dan Burn plays, and Dan Burn's physical. He'll get stuck into Gyökeres. And then you've got, as I said, either if Schär's fit, he'll play, or you've got Botman or Tior, who are all physical. So again, we're going to see what Gyökeres does. So it'll be a very good game. Andrew McDonald says, what are you doing? Talk about Villa. We wasn't talking about Villa, but we can talk about Villa if you want. Let me know what you want to know about Villa. Big up. So not Brett May says, did you paint your wall? Nah, big up, man. I didn't, man. It's a green screen. It's a green screen, but obviously it's a 2-color one. So yeah, big up, man. Did I paint my wall? Yeah, the wall's blue today. It's blue today, yeah. Big up to Iftikhar Habib. Yeah, big up Iftikhar. Says, what's up, Gav? I'm all good. Big up yourself, man. Hope you're well as well. Big up to Jay. Arrow_J. If anyone doesn't know Jay's name, it's Bebe. That's from wrestling. So that's Adam Cole. So Adam Cole's out injured at the moment. So I think Jay's just paying homage to Adam Cole. Tottenham win comfortably yesterday, but I wasn't convinced by Xavi. Yeah, listen, Xavi Simons is he's a weird player, Xavi Simons, because he's got ability, but for me, he always flatters to deceive, really. And I'm not sure where Xavi Simons played yesterday. I don't know if he played in the 10 or if he played out on the left, but I think Xavi Simons is more of a number 10, But again, I didn't see the game. I see the goals. But again, at home against Doncaster, comfortable win. I was more surprised that, Matis Tell, I don't know how Tell played, but 3 goals and Tell didn't even get a goal against what a Doncaster League One. So, yeah, that's concerning. But it makes it now that this Tell signing just makes no sense. But, yeah, listen, the main thing for them, 3-0 scoreline. They've got Newcastle now, funny enough, which is going to be a tough game. So, yeah, but listen, I think Xavi Simon's a good player, but do I think he's what Tottenham needed? I don't. I think when Tottenham were linked to Lucas Paqueta, I think Paqueta, Premier League proven, that would have been a better signing for me. If they're looking for a winger, again, it's difficult to see because, yeah, obviously they were looking at Gibbs White as well that can play both positions. But I think when they were linked to Paqueta, I think Paqueta would have been a great signing for them. But to think that West Ham would have sold them Kudus and now Paqueta was unlikely. So, yeah, but yeah, Xavi's got time, man. But just remains to be see where his best position is, because I think he's a number 10. But obviously Thomas Frank probably likes him better from the left. Thoughts on Mudryk retiring and playing track for Ukraine? His goal is the 2028 Olympics. I mean, I've not heard that. Is that been confirmed, Iftikhar? Let me know if that's been confirmed. I've not heard on Mudryk retiring. I mean, how long's he's banned for? But I've not heard him retiring. I'll be very surprised if that happens. I'll be very surprised. Big up to Luke Skywalker, says, what's up, mate? How you doing? I'm new to the channel. Yeah, big up, Luke, man. Where's Anakin? Now, big up yourself, man. If you're new to the channel, man, appreciate you coming on. This is a football channel. And again, we talk about boxing, we talk about wrestling, we talk about UFC. You know, we even talk about, you know, what's your best film? You know, what's your best series? You know, we had that discussion the other day. So, yeah, listen, most things are welcome in the chat as long as it's respectful. And again, make sure you sub to the channel if you are new. And make sure you smash up that like button as well. And check out the other content. So, yeah, big up yourself for coming through, man. Lumi says Xavi and Wirtz will both come good. Well, listen, Florian Wirtz is one of my favourite players, so I'm always going to be supportive of Florian Wirtz. You know, I think a lot of people are not really seeing what Florian Wirtz is bringing to Liverpool. But again, Liverpool haven't played well, so that's one thing we need to remember. But I do think Florian Wirtz will get it together. You know, I think if people are expecting Wirtz to, you know, get 20 goals, 20 assists or something like that, I don't think Wirtz is going to do that, you know. But I definitely do think he does need to have double figures with the amount of money that's been spent on him in either goals or assists, you know. But I think what Florian Wirtz is going to do for Liverpool, when it's tight games, you know, where Liverpool need to nick a goal, I think he's going to play his part in providing that crucial pass or getting a goal as well. And I think, yeah, I've got confidence in him that he'll come good. And again, Liverpool being a rival of United's, you know, there's no reason why I should be liking the Liverpool player. But for me, it's more than rivalry for me. It's how highly I rate the player. And I rate him highly, Wirtz. You know, people might think that this league he's not really suited to. I think sometimes you need to adjust. I think that the price tag is what's making people think that Florian Wirtz is a waste of time in a sense. But I do believe he will come good. You know, I think, yeah, he just needs to adapt. Guys, breaking news. William Saliba agrees new 5-year deal at Arsenal. I have to say, I am pretty shocked. And, yeah, listen, because again, there was talk about him going to Real Madrid, etc., or even going to PSG. But from what I heard, you know, Arsenal have upped their offer, their wage offer to William Saliba, and now he's signed a new 5-year deal. You know, is that going to be 5 years wasted? That's the problem, because he would have signed that 5-year deal with the view of Arsenal winning a Champions League or a Premier League title. Now, if you're honest with yourself, and Lumi, I want to hear from you, are Arsenal going to do that within the next 5 years of Saliba being there? Because I'm banking on the fact that this manager doesn't get sacked, because he should have been sacked time ago. So could Saliba be making a mistake by signing that 5-year deal? And let's face it, yeah, I wonder how much he's earning now, because you would have to believe the new 5-year deal, I'm going to say he must be on about 200 grand a week. I reckon so, because I think Declan Rice is on 240. You know, Saliba's arguably one of the best defenders in the league. And the fact that they've had to up their contract offer, I reckon he might be on about 200 grand a week. Definitely, you know. But, yeah, so Saliba signs new 5-year deal, guys. And breaking news right now. Could it be a massive mistake? So, thoughts on Onana getting a GA before Wirtz? Who's that? Is that Andre Onana or Amadou Onana? What one's that? Yeah, listen. I'm guessing you're meaning Andre Onana. Yeah, listen. Yeah, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not really too fussed about that, because by the end of the season, Florian Wirtz will have a goal and assist more than Onana. Like, Onana's a keeper, so Again, for banter, yeah, it's funny, but listen, I have faith in Florian Wirtz. You know, I mean, Liverpool haven't played well, and they've won every game this season so far. So, you know, and he's been part of that the majority of the time as well. So, yeah, listen, we'll have to wait and see. Gav will be behind on chats, people. Please be paid up. Yeah, no, listen, guys. I will always try my best. Big up to Exedra. I will always try my best to get through your chats. I'm just reading through the chats as they come through. Because obviously, normally what I do, you know, I discuss what I'm going to talk about, which was Man United, Ruben Amorim, must-win game on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff against Brentford. And then, yeah, if you keep your chats and your comments coming through, I'll always I'll always get back to it, guys. No doubt about that. So thoughts on Rafinha getting fifth at the Ballon d'Or rankings, and thoughts on Pedri getting 11. Yeah, big up to Iftikhar. I mean, I've spoken about this again. Again, if you guys haven't seen my stream on the Ballon d'Or, you know, they're in chapters, guys. So give that a watch. You know, so if there's anything in particular that you guys wanna see me talk about, then it's on there. So they're all in chapters, as I said. But my thoughts on Rafinha getting fifth. I mean, to be honest with you, like I spoke about this, and I'm not surprised because if we're looking at the top four, obviously Ousmane Dembele won it. And for me, I have no problems with that. Lamine Yamal, for me, would have been my chosen one, but he finished second. Vitinha was third, winning Champions League. And then fourth was Mo Salah. Now, the reason why I knew Rafinha was going to be in amongst the top five or fourth or fifth is because he won the same amount as Yamal, yeah? But the difference is Yamal won a European Championship. Again, he's the best player in the world for me as well. His GA was decent, and he's the new star boy of football. So he was always going to be up in the in the top two for me, you know. Although Rafinha did get better GA, Rafinha obviously does play in the same team as him, and you know, they both won the same thing, obviously. So I think Rafinha was, people might think Rafinha was hard done by, but the reason why Rafinha finished below Salah is because Salah got one more GA than him in less games. And if you're looking at it like this, Salah and him both won the titles in their country, in Spain and England respectively. So that's the reason why he finished fifth. Although people could make an argument for Harry Kane, because Harry Kane won a league title, his first league title with Bayern Munich, but his GA wasn't. His GA was two less than Salah and one less than Rafinha. I think Kane got 55 GA, Salah got 57, and Rafinha got 56. So Kane could have been in there. But again, Salah and Rafinha got in there purely because they got more GA. I think they got the most. Well, them two got the most GA really out of everyone, and they both won a league title. But then the other players that are in that list, it was Nuno Mendes, again, won Champions League, won Nations League, best left back in the world right now. The same with Hakimi, he won the same Champions League, best right back in the world right now. And those two guys were instrumental for PSG getting over the line. And then you got Donnarumma, who's the best keeper in the world right now, you would say, won a Champions League. And then Cole Palmer and Mbappe. So for me, Cole Palmer and Mbappe are probably the two players that you could say, if you want to replace any other players, and I'll get to Pedri in a minute, if there's any two players that you wanted to replace from that list, it will probably be them two. Because all the others all won a title or all had mad GA, you would say. So if you look at Mbappe had good GA. I think he got, 42 or 45 GA, but didn't win nothing with Real Madrid. And massive fan of Cole Palmer. Although Cole Palmer won the Conference League, that's not seen as a major trophy. But I think the Club World Championship is what probably got him in there. Not to mention, you know, he had a decent season, I think, goals and assists wise as well. But for me personally, and just talking about Pedri for me is the best midfielder in the world. You know, he's one of my favourite players, along with Yamal right now. And for me, along with Caicedo, Ryan Gravenberch, and Vitinha, those four for me are the best central midfielders in the world right now. And Pedri finished 11th, which I don't agree with. I think he should definitely have been in the top 10. You know, I would have taken either Mbappe or Palmer out there and put Pedri in there. Because again, Pedri won a league title and won the Euros. So how he was 11th is purely because of numbers. Because the fact that because Vitinha was in there because Champions League and Nations League. So if you're going to put Vitinha in there, then for me, Pedri has to be in there. But the difference between Pedri and Vitinha is that Vitinha did win that Champions League, which is what has obviously propelled him to get in, obviously, third place. But yeah, Pedri for me right now is one of the best midfielders in the world. And if there was any evidence as to how good Pedri is, just go and watch that Newcastle game, Barcelona versus Newcastle, where he absolutely ran the show with Frankie de Jong. So, but yeah, great question, Iftikhar, man. Big up. How long is Saka out for, Alpha? How long is Saka out for? Because I know he picked up that injury. But is it just a little injury, or is it something that's going to rule him out for a little bit? Because he looked quite painful from what I see. Looking like the ghost of London against the big teams. I think he will adjust though. He's a very good player. Who you talking about there, Luke? I'm not sure who you're mentioning. Let me know who you're talking about. Lumi says, Gav, I have some fantastic news. Yeah, listen, I was reading it out already. I knew you'd be excited. It might be fantastic news for Arsenal, but not for Saliba, because Saliba's now committed his future to Arsenal. Let's see what happens. I'll be very interested to see what titles they win now. Tell ain't it, Gav, was very happy we didn't sign him. Yeah, listen, you know what, Exedra, yeah? For me, when I first see Mattis Tell when he came through at Rennes, you know, he was playing through the middle as a striker. You know, this is why Bayern Munich signed him, because he was showing a lot of potential. And then at Bayern, obviously, when Harry Kane went there, he wasn't really getting the game time. I'm pretty sure he was there when Lewandowski was there as well. So, yeah, his game time was few and far between. I think him coming to the Premier League, and again, does the Premier League suit him? I'm not sure. Yeah, he's looked very poor, you know. But is that because the league is probably a bit too fast paced? I don't know, but he definitely isn't doing nothing in this league right now. And as I said, man, yeah, when Man United were linked to him, you know, I didn't mind the signing. To be fair, I didn't mind it because purely because of what I see him do at Bayern Munich. But you have to say, yeah, he's out of his depth at the moment at Tottenham. But you know, anyone can turn it around. You know, it's going to be up to him, up to Thomas Frank to see if he gives him more chances. But definitely right now, yeah, he isn't putting up any trees right now. Definitely. Big up to BHS, says, I'm in a gym right now looking at your video. Yeah, appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, man. Let me know. I mean, are you a Man United fan? Let me know what you think of Amorim's lineup tomorrow. Because personally, I think the team he's going to pick, which I've already been through, I don't know that. I don't think that beats Brentford on Saturday. You know, early kickoff as well, so I'll be looking forward to that. But I just don't know if that beats Brentford if he plays the team that I think he's going to play. But let's see. Guys, come on, smash the likes up if you haven't done so already. And make sure you sub to the channel as well if you're new in here. I think we're on, yeah, obviously we're on 1.6K. So I think can't remember now. I want to say about 70 short of 1.7K, I believe. So, yeah, big up yourselves. Keep smashing that like button and make sure you sub to the channel as well. Tell we're still young, but Frank doesn't fancy him too much. Yeah, I think well for good reason as well. I think, to be honest with you, because he hasn't really been that good. But again, he's still young to turn it around. I think Mattis Tell might be what, 21 now, but he's gonna need to show some form sooner or later. Because who's to say, like, January they might not move him on? Who knows? As a Spurs fan, the Tell signing is BS. Should have got Savinho. We got Randall, Kolomoane, and Solanke. Don't forget England youngster Dane Scarlett. Yeah, big up to Jay. I think Dane Scarlett's not going to get much game time. Obviously, if you're thinking of Richarlison, and look at what Thomas Frank's doing with Richarlison as well. You know, Richarlison's is a new player now for Tottenham. You know, the guy's scoring goals. And I think, if you're honest as well, Richarlison's now ahead of Solanke in the pecking order under Thomas Frank. Because Solanke was #1 striker, but now it's Richarlison. And look at Richarlison's return. I think Dane Scarlett, I think he'll get moved on. I don't think he'll get game time. Kolo Muani, I think he's injured. So Dane Scarlett's fourth choice. I think Savinho would have been a great signing for Tottenham. Although I do think, you know, the inverted is what Thomas Frank does like, with the left footer on the right side, the right foot on the left side. I think Savinho would have been a bit different though, because he can play both sides. He's probably better on the left. But yeah, he would have been a much better signing for me than Xavi Simons. You know, and I think once Kulusevski, Maddison do get back fit as well, you know, their creativity is going to go through the roof with those two as well. So yeah, I think Tottenham, man, I think they could be all right this season. So Alpha says it's fake. What's fake? Am I missing something here? It's all over social. Oh, okay. It's all over social media about him, Mudryk, retiring. It's not official, as he, alongside Chelsea, have not made any statement about him retiring. Yeah, but why would he retire? He's only 23. I think is he 23? Why would he retire? I mean, how long's the ban for? That's what I want to know. How long's the ban for? Thoughts on Dembele winning the Ballon d'Or and Champions League before Mbappe? Again, Iftikhar, if you want to check out my stream the other day on the Ballon d'Or, as I said, it's in chapters, so you can see myself talking about exactly that. You know, so obviously I won't go through it again because I've already mentioned it. But yeah, make sure you check that out. And obviously it's in chapters, so you can direct to that and see my opinions on Dembele winning the Champions League, or winning the Ballon d'Or, should I say. I forgot about Champions League. Yeah, that as well, before Mbappe. So yeah, give that a check. So Aaron Hoffman says, houndstooth jacket. First time I've heard that one, man. I'm not even sure what to say about that. I don't even know what that means. Houndstooth jacket. Aaron, let me know what you mean, man, because I'm lost on that one. I ain't going to lie. Gav, will we dominate trophies in 5 years? Oh, we will dominate trophies in 5 years. Listen, I'm not even going to say anything because, you know, the last few predictions, the 3 predictions you've got right. So I'm not even going to disagree. But let's just wait and see, Lumi, because, yeah, it's going to be a lot of twists and turns, put it that way. Jambread says Ruben Amorim has got to stay. So you're calling him Amorim, but now he's got to stay. I disagree, man. He's got to go. He's got to go for good reason. And as I said, minimum 6 points, starting with Brentford on Saturday. If he doesn't get 3 points there, he's failed. So, and Ineos will have a decision to make, definitely. And guys, I'm going to touch on something as well, which I forgot. Kobbie Mainoo. Yeah, there's been rumours that Kobbie Mainoo, after talk, whether this is true or not, but I heard it the other day, Kobbie Mainoo's had a conversation with Ruben Amorim, and has still decided he wants to leave. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this now. Yeah, and remember this conversation, guys. Yeah, Kobbie Mainoo is not leaving. Yeah, I can tell you that for free. Kobbie Mainoo is not leaving for so many reasons. I think what's happening here, and I've been saying this from when that transfer window shut, Kobbie Mainoo is disillusioned with life under Ruben Amorim. So what Kobbie Mainoo's doing he's showing he wants to see how much he's valued by the club, because what he's doing is that he's threatening to leave, so the pressure can be on the manager, so Ineos can part ways with the manager. This is nothing short of a tactic, I believe, that what Kobbie's doing, because Kobbie fully well knows, yeah, he was the, the hot prospect coming through the academy into the first team, looking like one of the best players that the country is going to produce, yeah. And all of a sudden now, he's gone from that to just any player on the bench now, and that isn't through Kobbie's fault. That's through the club mismanaging him. And I think the fact that there's talk about him wanting to move on in January, that's just a ploy to get the manager out. That's a ploy to force Ineos' hand on the manager. Because I can guarantee this now, a new manager comes in, Kobbie plays regularly. But the fact that he's not playing regularly in this system for this manager, he's forcing Ineos and the club's hand. So I'm telling you this now, Kobbie's not leaving. He's not going anywhere. He's not. It's just a ploy from his team to see how much he's valued. You've heard it here first, guys. Guys, come on, smash the like button, sub to the channel. 16 of you in there, 10 likes. Let's at least get to 20, guys. Yes, Saliba thought he would go to Madrid. Well, I mean, I've heard they're looking at Konate, Saliba, but the fact that he signed a new contract, they had to up their money, up his money, should I say? But I think it's definitely, he must be thinking Arsenal are going to be winning one of them major trophies in the next 5 years, because otherwise, why would you go and do that? So, yeah. I don't know if Konate goes to Real Madrid, I'll be honest. I'm still 50-50 on that one, but he still hasn't agreed a new contract, so that could be a problem. So Lumi reckons in the next 5 seasons, we will win at least 3 leagues, 1 Champions League, and a few domestic trophies. Guys, I think Lumi's on the red wine and coke again. She has to be. 3 league titles, 1 Champions League, and a few domestic trophies. So Lumi reckons, yeah, Arsenal are going to win 6 trophies in the next 5 years. I'm going to pin this, yeah? I'm going to pin this. Let me see. Oh, I almost removed it. So, guys, you've heard it here first, yeah? I'm pinning it, yeah? Lumi reckons that Arsenal are going to win 6 trophies in the next 5 years, with 3 of them being the league title, yeah? Let's hope for her sake, guys, because I have to be honest, I disagree strongly. Jay, I will be when we win the league this season. Surely Kane wants to come back to beat Shearer's record. Yeah, but you know what? Harry Kane's a funny one now, because Harry Kane's what, 32? You know what's actually funny, yeah? I was working yesterday, and there were some kids that were saying they actually thought Harry Kane was like 40. That is crazy. I said, nah, he's like, sorry, I think one of them actually said 50. I don't know if they were being serious, but Harry Kane's 32, yeah? And you would have to believe, I reckon this could be Kane's last season at Bayern. I think he's won a league title now, whether he wants to stat pad titles for Bayern Munich, I don't know, but he's won a league title. He's going to try and help them win the Champions League, which I don't think they're going to. So he might have that Alan Shearer record on his mind. The only problem is, I don't even know where Shearer goes. I don't even know where Kane goes, because he's not going to go to Liverpool because Isak and Ekatike are there. He's not going to Man City because Haaland's there. He's not going to Arsenal because Gyökeres is there, and obviously he's a former Tottenham player. So that's 3 teams already. Chelsea, I don't see him going there with the rivalry as well. And they've got João Pedro and Liam Delap there as well. Man United, no, I don't see United sign him. He's 32, so that's going to go against the philosophy of what the club are trying to do. So really and truly, that leaves, again, Newcastle. I mean, they've got Walter Marden, they've got Visser. You know, I don't see Kane going there, but I wouldn't rule that out. And that really leaves Tottenham. And is he going to go back to Tottenham? So, again, I don't really see where Kane goes back in the Premier League. You know, if Kane was, 26, 27, he'll have his pick of clubs, regardless of who's there. But I just don't see him going back to any of them teams. And again, that's why I don't know if he breaks Shearer's record now. I think that time has probably passed. You know, he's getting older as well. Come on, Gav. Rafinha got 64 GA. No, he didn't. Won La Liga Player of the Season. Won a domestic treble. Broke Cristiano's goals and assists record at Champions League. Vitinha over Pedri. So, I don't think... I mean, are you talking about international-wise, Iftikhar? Because I think club-wise, he got 56, not 64. I think you're including international. But listen, Rafinha had a great season. Like, I'm not saying he didn't. He had a very good season. And the fact that he's in top 5, I can see why they've done that. Because the top 2 was Dembele and Yamal. Both had good GA, you know. Both won titles, whether it's a league title or Champions League. Vitinha won Champions League. So them 3, I can see why they're the 3. Mo Salah, him and Mo Salah retired because they both won a league title and both got similar GA. So, yeah, I mean, where else do you think Rafinha should have ranked? Because I knew Rafinha was never winning the Ballon d'Or. I knew he was never going to do that. So, and then Vitinha over Pedri. I think Vitinha only over Pedri because of Champions League. Like, I haven't got a problem that Vitinha, if he was to rank higher than Pedri in the order, because he did win a Champions League. But for me, Pedri needs to be in that list because I'm not going to accept that Vitinha is better than Pedri. I don't think there's nothing in it. You know, I'd actually edge towards Pedri, even though I think Vitinha is a top player. But Pedri's different, man. So I'm gonna say Pedri. You know. Yeah, big up, Jay, man. No worries. Yeah, big up, man. Big up for coming through. Thoughts on Atletico Madrid being 11th in La Liga? Yeah, listen, I think when it come the end of the season, they are going to climb the table. You know, Diego Simeone's been there before. I think they won 3-2 last night against Rayo Vallecano. I think Julian Alvarez got a hat-trick, and Julian Alvarez is a key player for them. So, yeah, I mean, they're 11th, but I expect them to be high up the table come the end of the season, definitely. Brother, Rafinha is wronged. Why is he ranked 5th and Lamine 2nd? Even though Rafinha had a great season, better than Lamine. Big up to Sal, says, why is Lamine better than Rafinha? Why is Lamine ranked higher than Rafinha? That's easy to answer, because Lamine Yamal is a better player. Like, football should never be based on numbers. It's the better player. And Rafinha's numbers were through the roof. Let's be honest, yeah? But he's not a better footballer than Lamine Yamal. He's not. So, again, they both won the same amount of trophies. And yeah, Rafinha did get better numbers. But the Ballon d'Or should never be given to the player that gets better numbers. It should always be given to the best player. And that's how much prestige that this tournament has lost. Because people just look at numbers now, you know. But, yeah, listen, Rafinha is a good player, man, and had a very good season. But he's not a better player than Yamal. So, as I said, Yamal was always going to be ahead of Rafinha. And I said this from the start, and I have no problem with that. Saliba has committed his future to failure. Big up, Broderick, bro. I agree. There's no way we can't fail with this squad. Listen, Lumi, do you want me to pin another comment again? The actual squad you have is actually a good squad, but you're missing one key ingredient. It's the manager. This manager's not taking you anywhere. I promise you. When you set up against Man City, yeah, to not lose, and you're at home, that gives you your answer. Because Man City were there to be beat. And the fact that he's set up with those three midfielders in Marino, Rice, and Zubamendi, he didn't want to win that game. And he got what he deserved. Big up to Joaquin Phoenix, Joker. He got what he fucking deserved. It wasn't a loss, but it was a last minute equalizer. So listen, yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But yeah, if he wants to commit his future to failure, that's on Saliba, man. I thought better of him. Clearly not. Lamine just pulls a Arjen Robben every time. His way of shooting is copy paste of Arjen's way. I would have put Lamine at fourth at the rankings. Yeah, listen, big up for your comments, man. I'm disagreeing though. I'm disagreeing. I don't think people are deep in how good Yamal is. I think one thing I'm gonna say, because again, people have their own opinions, which is what makes football talk good. It's about having dialogue and having your own opinion, whether we agree or not. But the one thing I would say is, and I've said this before, Lamine Yamal, guys, has just turned 18 recently, yeah? The guy was a key player for club and country at the age of 16. You go and find me any player in world football from years gone by that has been a key player for club and country at 16. And it's not like he's playing for, no disrespect, Berry Town or Macclesfield, yeah? He is playing for arguably one of the biggest clubs in the world, in Barcelona, where the pressure is on every game. And he's playing for one of the best nations as well in Spain, and he was doing that at 16 years of age, being a key player for club and country. As I said, it's unheard of. You tell me an 18-year-old player that has come second as well in the Ballon d'Or rankings ever. Tell me. Tell me an 18-year-old that has become a Ballon d'Or second ranking, and then I'll tell you that he shouldn't be in there. It's never happened, guys. That's how good the guy is. If you ever played football, yeah, at the age of 16, and let's not forget, Yamal made his debut at 15 for Barcelona. People forget he made his debut younger than Messi. He's the youngest ever player to play for Barcelona. He made his debut at 15, was a key player at 16, taking the world by storm at 17 and 18. Yeah. So, as I said, if you ever played football, when you're 15 or 16, yeah, really and truly, you shouldn't be in the first team squad holding down a place as a regular. It shouldn't really happen. That's what he was doing, and being a key player at it as well. When you're that age, and even if you're 18, yeah, you should be a player that should be feeling your way into the squad, into the first 11. There's no way you should be a key player for club and country, even at 18. Go and find me an 18-year-old right now around the world that's a key player for a major team in the world. There isn't. So when people are saying you would have had him at fourth and Arjen Robben, Pace, etc., I listen. I hear the Arjen Robben comparisons. I think there's more comparisons with Messi and Neymar personally, because I think the reason why people are saying the Arjen Robben comparisons is because these guys don't do stepovers. They're players that are, they use, ball manipulation, body swerves, feints to get past their man. Whereas a lot of players use stepovers. So I can see the liking to Robben. But for me, he's got the left foot and the ability of Messi, and he's got the confidence and the arrogance of a Neymar to get on the ball and do what he wants. But I remind you guys again, this guy is 18. He was doing it at 16. Made his debut at 15 for club and country. So that's Lamine Yamal, man. So people think he's fourth. It's up for debate. But in my mind, he should have won it because he's the best player in the world. You fools think you are back. You will turn on your manager next game. Watch. Luis Fabiano. Um, who are we talking about? Who's the fools? Because if you're talking about us turning our back, like obviously you must be new in here because I've been very consistent with the manager. I don't want this manager. I didn't want this manager last season. So I'm not sure where you're getting this from. I'm not sure are you talking about Arteta or Ruben Amorim? Mainoo is welcome at Arsenal. However, he'll be sixth in the pecking order in his position. Listen, if Kobbie Mainoo comes to Arsenal, he starts. You know, so it will be just play someone with Kobbie Mainoo, Lumi. I hope you do know that. Don't look at Kobbie Mainoo as not playing in this shit Man United team under this shit manager. That's why Kobbie is not playing. You know, if Kobbie's fit, yeah, he'll come and start in your midfield, no doubt. You know, between Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard, whoever you want to pick, they've got to make way. So just know that, yeah? Just know that. Gav, you thought Chelsea would be better than us this season. Listen, the season's still young, man. Don't get too excited. The season's still young. As I said, there's a long way to go. You know, Chelsea haven't been great. But what's the league table saying? I think Arsenal are on what? They're on 10 points, I think, Arsenal. They got Newcastle next game. If Chelsea, guys, anyone know the league table? Because I believe if Chelsea win the next game and Arsenal get beat by Newcastle, you know, it's probably like 1 point in it or something like that, I believe. So yeah, listen, let's not get overboard now. Because I can guarantee you this year, I'm more confident that Chelsea will end the season with a trophy than what Arsenal will. Yeah, listen. Listen, me saying that I rate Pedri over Vitinha, Zedra, yeah? Big up, man. Me saying that I rate Pedri over Vitinha, it's not like I don't feel happy doing that because Vitinha's a top player. It's not about that. These are two of the best midfielders in the world. But my preference for players, I just like Pedri. Pedri's a top player, man. He's a top player. And as I said, man, like players like Pedri, they come around once every 10, 20 years. You know, as I said, the closest player to Iniesta, who's one of my favorite ever players, is Pedri. You know, he's very reminiscent of Iniesta. He's probably just a bit more defensive. You know what I mean? But yeah, listen, I rate him highly. I rate him highly. You know, and again, Vitinha's a top player as well. Players like this, yeah. And what I like about players like Pedri and Vitinha, you know, and they're the kind of players that keep football alive. You know, these two guys, just like Frankie de Jong, you know, and a few other players, these guys don't have any physicality. You know, these guys are not particularly overly strong. They're not quick, but the football brain is just too good. These guys' brains are ticking all the time, you know. And this is why I love Sergio Busquets, you know, because Busquets was not strong. He was not quick, but his football brain was just too smart. He couldn't get near him on the pitch, you know. And players like that, you know, they go under the radar because people now are just too fixated with pace and power and GA and all this other nonsense. But you've got a player in Pedri and Vitinha right now that they're easily two of the best midfielders in the world, you know, and it's because they're just pure footballers. And the more pure footballers you have, the better your team will be, you know, because these two guys, they're fundamental for club and country, you know, and this is what it's about. Yeah, listen, a lot of people think Gabriel's better than Saliba. I think Gabriel, I think what it is, Gabriel's more dependable than Saliba, I would say. I think if you was to take out Gabriel and have Saliba and someone else, I think the majority of Arsenal fans will probably say they're not as confident. Whereas if Gabriel's in the team still, when you take out Saliba and put Mosquera in, I think there's more confidence because I think Gabriel's more of a leader. You know, obviously as a centre back, he gets more stuck in as well. Yeah, so yeah, but again, they're a good combination. They are a good combination, but is it going to be a combination that gets them over the line? This is what it is. R9 won it. Won what? Yeah, Bear Chess. I think you're talking about the Ballon d'Or. What age did R9 win it? Did R9 win it at 18? So Wheat says Rafinha being fifth is pure madness. It's not, to be honest with you, I don't think it's madness. I think people think it's madness because of his GA. That's the only reason. And if that's what you think, then it's not madness because the Ballon d'Or should never be based on someone getting mad GA. I will never accept, someone just getting it just based on GA. And again, Rafinha isn't just GA, but he's up against someone that won the Champions League and had decent numbers himself in Dembele, and he's up against someone that is just the best player in the world for me in Lamine Yamal. And then again, Vitinha didn't get GA, but he's a great footballer and won Champions League. And then Mo Salah, you can argue Mo Salah or Rafinha should have been the other way around. But again, I've already explained why I think they gave it to Salah because of the one GA he got more in club football. So Iftikhar says, has Gav ever heard about R9? Iftikhar, I don't know if you're new in here yet. Well, I think you are new in here. But if you're talking to me about R9, yeah? Listen, let's allow that because, those of you that have been watching me for any length of time will know that obviously R9 is my favorite ever player. Ronaldo Di Nazario, de Lima. That's the real Ronaldo there. So I can't remember if R9 won it at 18. All I know is that he made his debut for PSV. He come from Cruzeiro to PSV to Barcelona, Inter, Real Madrid, AC Milan, So yeah, listen. Yeah, well, as the executive says, yeah, think twice, Iftikhar. Big up yourself, but think twice. But hey, listen, if R9 won it at 18, then I'll hold my hands up. But I don't know if he won at 18. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. K-Lock says Esteval is carrying at 18. What's he carrying, K-Lock? What's he carrying? Because I think Esteval's good, but what is he carrying? Sometimes I think people just put chats in for the sake of it. But I'm here for it. Let's see. Yeah, I know Premier League is way harder than La Liga. Not going to lie. Let's see. Gav, opinion on Anthony scoring a last match equaliser against Nottingham Forest. Yeah, listen, I've said about Anthony before. I said it yesterday. Anthony was one of the players that, I didn't really think was given a fair chance. I think in this system that United are playing at the moment, I can see why he went, because Mbeumo was signed. Obviously, Ahmad's there as well. So he definitely wasn't going to be given game time. But as I said, he was given far less time than the likes of Garnacho and Højlund, who, again, eventually went. But because of Anthony's wage and because of how much he cost, this is why he was allowed to go, and this is why they were trying to force him out, But I think Anthony at Betis will do well. He will do well. And I think Anthony's got another move in him as well. I think if Anthony has a good couple of seasons at Betis, where, he's taking them high up the table, he's getting a few goals and assists, don't be surprised if you see Anthony ending up at one of the top clubs in the world. Don't be surprised. I'm not sure who it will be, but Don't be surprised. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, Christian Orozco. Yeah, I've heard about him. Meant to be a very good player. Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, big up. There's been loads of players like Pedri in 20 years. No offense. And you know what? Yeah, I like it when people come out with these comments. Yeah, and Thomas Thornton. Yeah, name me those players then, because I'm waiting. Let's see. Let's see you because this is gonna tell me, yeah, what your way of in how you see football. Because when you're coming out with nonsense like that, yeah, and sorry, I'm gonna change it. So I'm not gonna say nonsense because you might have a point to what you're saying, yeah. But when people come out with things like this, you know, they never back up what they're saying. So when you're saying there's been loads of players like Pedri in 20 years, please name me the players that are like Pedri. Because I can't wait to see this. Let's see. So Iftikhar says R9 won the Ballon d'Or at 21. And there you go. So, as I said, I don't think there's ever been a player that has won a Ballon d'Or at 18. I don't think there's been one. Because it's unheard of. Because at 18 years of age, you shouldn't be that level. This is what I'm trying to say to you. You're someone that should be feeling your way into your first team. He was doing that at 16. So when I'm telling you guys that this guy is a ridiculous talent, it's not normal what he's doing. You know, I'll go even one further. Yeah. Tell me an 18-year-old that has an 89 rating on FIFA. Tell me. I've never seen that. He's an 89 rating, which is 1 off 90, yeah, as an 18-year-old. So, by the way that Yamal's going, when Yamal hits 21, he should be about a 95 rating already. And he's still going to have another 9-10 years left in the game. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This guy, the guy's a freak, guys. He's a freak. So, if we're just putting it down to things like that, and people saying that Yamal should have finished 4th, whatever, people need to realize how good this player is, you know, and fingers crossed he stays clear of injury. You know, he's not going anywhere. He's not. So, yeah, Bon Matty, man, she's won it for a record 3 times. Yeah, I see that. Aitana Bon Matty. Again, unlucky not to win the Euros. Got beaten by England in the final. She actually scored. I think she scored. No, she scored in the semi-final. Sorry. But, yeah, Bon Matty's very good. She's very good. So, Virat Kohli is Ronaldo, Messi, and Neymar combined. Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. Gav, what is the greatest football players played a different sport? What would it be? So, what if the greatest football players played a different... Oh, okay. Do you know what? That's a good question, but I'm probably going to say... I'll probably say golf. Because I think a lot of football players play golf. You know, I can't stand golf personally. You know, I think crazy golf is as good as it gets for me, you know. But I think a lot of football players play golf. You know, I'll probably say golf or basketball, athletics, probably. I'm not too sure. It's a weird question, but it's a good one. But yeah, probably basketball, athletics, or golf, I'll probably say, yeah. Big up to Exedra. Exactly what I'm saying. To be fair, 20 years ago, football was way better than it is now. Of course it was. And as I said to you, I've watched football for over 30 years. And I've seen some proper players, yeah? And the way that Pedri plays, the only player reminiscent of Pedri is Iniesta in the style that he plays. You know? Playing the game very simple is very hard. You know, it might sound a bit weird to say that, but playing simple is the hardest thing to do, you know? And Pedri does that to a level where it's just, you know, just a kickabout. You know, the guy's top level. And as I said, if you're still in the chat, Thomas Thornton, name me players like Pedri in the last 20 years, apart from Iniesta, because I've already mentioned him. What do you guys think of Vinny Jr. this season? So, as I said previously about Vinicius Jr., yeah? Vinicius Jr., and it's crazy to think, yeah? When Vinicius Jr. was there, as we know, he's back. He's the story, obviously, when he first come to Real Madrid, you know, Benzema was telling people that he's playing against us, you know. He was really up against it, you know, the racial issues as well. To think that Vinicius Jr. come through all that, and then when Benzema went, he was Real Madrid's #1 player, yeah? And I did say this, as soon as Mbappe comes, Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe, they can't coexist in the same team because both players with their personality are going to want to be #1. Now, before Mbappe came to Real Madrid, Vinicius Jr. finished second in the Ballon d'Or to Rodri. Some people thought he should have won it, yeah? Now, Vinicius Jr. can't even get in the top 10. And that has been coincided with Mbappe coming to the team and Mbappe being in the top 10. So, again, I'm not surprised because, as I said, you know, it's one of them things where, you know, both players want to be #1, which is why I said Rodrigo needs to leave. Because Rodrigo is more talented than both of them. But the problem is they've got bigger names than Rodrigo. So the fact that Mbappe's come, you know, he's getting goals. Don't get me wrong. He's the key man of the team now, rather than Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr. now, not only is he not in the top 10, you know, he's actually regressed a bit as well. So just shows you how football works, you know. And I mean, it's Real Madrid. You don't see Vinicius Jr. unless he's going to get offered mad money. But you're probably thinking Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo have to really leave because those three players in their own right, him and them to an Mbappe, have to be kind of like #1s at different teams. And Mbappe is going to be #1 for as long as he's there. So this is the problem. But big up, man. Great question. Look, mad question. Pineapple pizza, yes or no? Sorry, pineapple on pizza, yes or no? You know what? 100% pineapple on pizza. 100%. Big up to Aka Westra. Yeah, 100% pineapple on pizza. I want Man United to pay a record fee for Bon Matty. If the men can't find shame, then focus on the women who are fighting for the Champions League and the Prem every year. Oh, you know what, Exedra? I thought you meant signing Bon Matty for the men's team. You know, that's why I was laughing. I thought you meant signing for the men's team because I'm pretty confident that Bon Matty would be better in that midfield than Manuel Ugarte. I'm pretty confident of that. So yeah, that's what I thought you meant, man. Yeah, and exactly what I said. The hardest thing in football is making it look simple. Paul Scholes. I agree. I agree. Thomas, if you're still in there, I'm still waiting for this list, by the way. I haven't forgotten. Spain railed us in South Africa, but we got our revenge with that Flying Dutchman match. Man, I miss our soccer team. Yeah, listen, I you know what? That is one thing I'll never forget, yeah, when Arjen Robben, for me, Sergio Ramos is one of the best defenders ever, in my opinion, for what he offered, what he won, his leadership, etc., yeah? But what Robben done to Ramos in that group game was ridiculous. The pace and then the composure and the finish. And Van Persie's diving header as well. Yeah, listen. Imagine Holland had Robben, Van Persie, and who was on the left? It was it Memphis Depay? No, it was someone else, wasn't it? Rafael van der Vaart was in the 10, I think. Robben on the right. Van Persie up top. Who was on the left? I can't remember. Can't remember. But that was a mad team. Mad team. Fun fact, Bobby Charlton's youngest brother, Tom, at the age of 87, still wants his England debut. Oh, you guys making me laugh, man. Thomas is still watching. He isn't replying. And you know why he's not replying? Because, again, this is people for you, yeah? I'm not someone, yeah, that professes to know everything. But when it comes to football, yeah, I don't miss a beat. I don't skip a beat because football's just my life, yeah. But a lot of people come on to channels from I've seen it on other channels, yeah. A lot of people just type stuff for the sake of it without actually backing an opinion. And I think that's the worst thing you can do because when you do get called out on it, you're embarrassing yourself. Oh, Ryan Barble. Was it Ryan Barble? It might have been Ryan Barble, but Ryan Barble I think was slightly younger than them guys. But it could be Barble. Um, but listen, Ryan Barble, Van Persie, Robin, Van der Vaart, and I think behind that was Mark Van Bommel and who's the other one? Van Bommel and was it Van Bommel or was it Koku or something? I can't remember. But we're going way back now. We're going way back. But yeah, as I said, for me, guys, it's like some people just put stuff in the chat and then when they get questioned, there's nothing coming back. So unfortunately, man, these are the kind of people that you get. But listen, if Thomas doesn't want to put his reply in, then that's up to him. Because I think he knows that he might have got that one wrong. But big up anyway. Imagine the FA accepting Bon Mate to Man United's men's team and immediately getting two-footed right on after a debut. Well, listen, I'm not gonna imagine that because it's never gonna happen. So yeah, it's never gonna happen, man. But she's a very good player, man. Very good player. But again, watching Spain have got some very good players anyway. You know, you think of Alexia Putellas as well from Barcelona. She's won Ballon d'Or before. They got some young girls coming through. Vicky Gonzalez? I think she won the young women's young player of the year award. They've got what's her name? That striker Esther Gonzalez. She's dangerous. Salma Paralelo as well. She's ridiculous. Who was that winger? The I forgot her name. Number 10 on the back. Forgot her name. She was serious as well. Yeah, they got some the right back on a battle. Who I think she used to be at Chelsea, I believe, but I think she's at Barcelona now. But they got some serious players, man. I think the centre back Patry as well. Yeah, they got some really good players. Vicky Lopez, sorry, not Vicky Gonzalez. Vicky Lopez, that's the one. Yeah, I mean Esther Gonzalez. So yeah, Vicky Lopez, Esther Gonzalez. They got some serious players, man. Some serious player. Pajor, yeah. Pajor's good as well. Yeah, listen, man, they got some top players. Bloody hell, look at that. Ola John, you know. Ola John, Dirk Kuyt, Memphis Depay, Luke De Jong. Yeah, madness. We're bringing it back, man, for real. Yeah, listen, their centre-backs. What was his name? The ex-Chelsea defender. You guys would know his name. Forgot his name. His name. Khalid Boularus. If anyone remembers Khalid Boularus. If you're a Chelsea fan, you'll know about Khalid Boularus. Ex-Chelsea defender. They had him. Left back was... Who was left back? Wasn't Van Bronckhorst, was it? Van Bronckhorst or Arthur Newman, might have been. Michael Reisiger, right back. Yeah, listen, man, we're bringing it back, man. Edwin van der Sar in goal. Yeah, crazy, man. Some crazy. But Edgar Davids, obviously, Clarence Seedorf, you know, back in the day. You know, Ronald de Boer, Frank de Boer. You know, but listen, they've had some Daily Blind. Yeah, Daily Blind. Another one. Wet Hard. Oh, God. Sorry, guys. I take it back. How can I forget? Yeah. So Holland had Van Persie as a striker. Then it was Robin on the right. I can't remember the left. Left might have been Ryan Barble or Memphis Depay or someone. I can't remember. But the two tens, they had Raphael van der Vaart and Wesley Sneijder. If anyone doesn't remember Wesley Sneijder was an absolute demon. You know, Him and Etu in that, Etu, Diego Milito in that Inter Milan team. Yeah, what they were a problem, man. Wesley Sneijder. I think last time I see Wesley Sneijder, though, he's put on a lot of weight, man, which is crazy. Just shows you, man, once these guys stop playing football, the weight just gets the better of them. It's mad. But crazy, man. Yeah, Sneijder was cold, his edger, man. He was ridiculous, Wesley Sneijder. Ridiculous player. That's why, man. That's why, yeah. When I see these players that a lot of these fans are trying to call number 10s, I just laugh. Because these fans haven't seen Pablo Aimar. They haven't seen Wesley Sneijder, Juan Roman Riquelme, Ronaldinho, Zidane, Rui Costa, Alessandro Del Piero, Francesco Totti, Benito Carboni, Paolo Di Canio, Matt Letizia. You know, there's probably more forgotten, yeah? These are what you call number 10s. Even this guy wasn't a number 10. He was more of a striker. Who remembers Antonio Cassano? Antonio Cassano was ridiculous. Him and Totti together. Like, listen, when you're seeing players like that, like, there's no one that can make me, yeah, put up with Bruno Fernandes. I won't do it. Because I've seen too many good players. And Bruno Fernandes is nowhere near any of these players. So when you're getting fans saying Bruno's... I mean, when people were saying Bruno's is a second coming of Eric Cantona. I mean, whoever said that should have been sectioned straight away. Should have been thrown into jail for them kind of comments. You don't do that. You know? If I would have heard that comment that Bruno... I didn't hear it, yeah, but the person that said Bruno Fernandes is the next Eric Cantona, or the second coming of Eric Cantona, he should have been thrown in jail. I promise you. He should have been thrown in jail for such nonsense. You know what I mean? Like these players didn't exist. You know what I mean? So Dembele, Ballon d'Or winner, little bro. Bro, I'm probably older than you, man. What are you talking about, little bro? I'm probably older than you. How about you're my little bro, man? What are you talking about? People saying Bruno's carried us for years, carried us to what? Yeah, listen, the people that say Bruno carried us is nothing more than Bruno fans. Like, these people just don't know football. That's the reality. Like, exactly, he's carried us to 15th. That's what he's done. And again, these people that think Bruno carried us, they're only talking about numbers. And this is all these people care about. You know what I mean? So, it's ridiculous, man. It is ridiculous. But unfortunately, people have their opinions, whether they're just messed up or not. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So, yeah. But guys, listen up. We're going to wrap up anyway. Big up yourselves for coming on. Bruno carried meaning. He was the only player performing well in Man United. Burhan, again, I'm not sure what your knowledge in football is, yeah? But what I will tell you is that if you think Bruno Fernandes has carried Manchester United because of numbers, or you think he supposedly performed, is there any surprise why the club are in the way it is? And he's been a massive part of that. So, again, if you think he's been performing and United are performing the way they are, yeah, it's headed by Bruno Fernandes, because everything around Bruno Fernandes has been changed but him. So there's your answer. But guys, listen up. What do you think Bruno should leave? Bruno should have left a couple of seasons ago. He definitely should have left the start of the summer when Saudi coming for him. And I'm just hoping a new manager comes in, phases him out the team before January. He gets unsettled. January comes around and he's at the club. That's what I hope. So James Adams says, who had been better than Bruno over the last 5 years? Over the last 5 years. Okay, so let's go to Barcelona. So Pedri, Yamal, Lewandowski, Frankie de Jong. Let's go Real Madrid. Valverde. Rodrigo, Mbappe, Vinicius Jr. Oh, at United, yeah? Okay, so next time make it clear then, yeah? Okay, so at United, who's been better than him over the last 5 years? Paul Pogba. I'm trying to think of the attacks. Paul Pogba, Anthony Martial. Mason Greenwood. Who else we got in the attack? I'm trying to think of other players Man United have had. What I'll do, James, I'll change it to you, yeah? Name me players in the chat, because I can't think of them on the top of my head. And I'll tell you if they've been better. Put names in the chat, and I'll tell you if they've been better than Bruno. I think that'd be easier. Burhan says, where are you from, bro? UK, man. UK. Cavani, Varane, Rashford. Yeah, listen. If anyone thinks Bruno's been better than all these players, yeah, again, these people are not interested in performances. It's numbers. Numbers is what saves this guy, because this is all. If you're not someone that's a real footballing person, you just care about numbers, and unfortunately, this is what it is. But James, what I would say to you is, with Bruno Fernandes in this team, what have Man United done that's relevant? Because the Europa League final against Tottenham, he was one of the worst players on the pitch. The one where Oli was in charge against, was it Villarreal? He was nowhere to be seen. So, as I said, it's one of them things where people only like Bruno because of numbers. And what it is as well, what people need to realise, yeah? Bruno Fernandes is a passion merchant, yeah? He's a passion merchant that taps into fans, into their psyche. Because fans are emotional, yeah? Just like Jude Bellingham. Jude Bellingham's a passion merchant as well. Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, Bruno Fernandes. These guys, I look at them, they're all the same. They're all passion merchants, yeah? They tap into fans' psyche because it's a case where fans are emotional. And if they see a player that's got blood, sweat and tears, they run all over the pitch, they're really trying for the badge in a sense. This is why fans like them. It's nothing to do with football. Because if you're looking at pure footballing ability or what these guys do when it matters, yeah, those three there I've just mentioned don't show up when it matters. That's what it comes down to. Love to you and UK, but to be honest, no one can beat the quality of UK in terms of stadiums, grounds, camera quality, crazy fans, man. Yeah, listen. Big up for coming on, man. But United have been shot for years. Doesn't take away from the fact Bruno has been head and shoulders above everyone else at United for years. But James, if you think Bruno's been head and shoulders above everyone else, that shows a low level of understanding or a low level of standards. Because I tell you now, I watched every game last season for United and have been for the last, since I've been a supporter of Man United. And I can tell you this for free. Bruno Fernandes hasn't played well in the majority of them. He hasn't. A lot of his performances are masked over with goals or assists. That's the problem. So Burhan's saying Pedri is just average and overrated midfielder. People glaze him so much, and literally those 15 years old. Yeah, listen, Burhan, listen, I don't think you've watched enough football, man. Listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but when you're coming out with things like that, it's telling me that you haven't watched too much football, you know? So, yeah, let's just allow that one, man. Would you like Rashford to come back? Personally, I don't care about his attitude. I think he'll make a big difference for the time we are in. Big up to wait, what, yeah? What I would say is Rashford should have been gone 2 or 3 seasons ago, if we're being honest. I think where Rashford was never meant to be in the position that he's in now. He wasn't. If you know Rashford from the youth and the reserves, his contract was actually up, you know, and he wasn't putting up any trees in the reserves. So again, if you remember, Martial got injured, and Will Keane was injured, yeah, and that's when Marcus Rashford was given his chance because those 2 players, they were injured, and obviously from there he's never looked back. But Rashford was never meant to be the player that a lot of fans think he is. And then what these fans started doing was pitting Rashford against Martial. Even though Martial was 10 times the player of Rashford, Rashford was Manc born and bred, you know, coming through the academy. And these fans were just desperate to give him a chance, you know, to the extent where they gave him the number 10 shirt, which was madness, you know, highest paid player at the club. you know, even the captaincy at a point as well, and they made him the key player. Then obviously he started feeding all the children as well. So all these things have played a part in Rashford's. All these things have played its part in Rashford's standing at the club. But the reality is, he was never meant to be where he is, and he's made a good fist of his career. Fair enough, but the fact that Garnacho and Højlund left after him, I have a problem with, because he's better than both of them too. Because both of them were shit. And but do I want him back at United? Again, this system doesn't suit him, and the manager needs to be sacked for me. But even under a new system, there's better players that should be coming in ahead of Marcus Rashford. So it is what it is. So, you know what it makes me laugh, yeah? Burhan says, what the hell are you yapping? Watching football since, honestly, 2016. So, again, Burhan, this is where I'm going to sit you down, yeah? You've been watching since 2016, yeah? I've been watching since the 90s. So, what are you talking about? This is what I'm trying to say to you. Like, you're coming on there, having watched football since 2016, and you think you know what's going on. Like, you don't. So when you're saying Pedri's overrated, you haven't seen football. You know, you haven't seen football, unfortunately. I mean, it's not your fault, but don't come on here and tell me I'm yapping when I've had 3 decades of football, and you've had not even one. Or should I say, well, yeah, you've not even reached one. So yeah, don't come on there saying I'm yapping when you haven't even reached 1 decade of football, and I've seen 3. You know, I've seen players that you've never even heard of. Let's not do that, man. Yeah, James, listen, I can see you rate Bruno Fernandes, man. But I'm telling you this now, he's the single biggest problem at this club and has been. Before I even had a channel, I said this guy was a massive problem. Why? Because when he come to the club, people that don't really care about systems or care about formations and how teams are set up, yeah, wouldn't see what Bruno was doing. When he first come to the club, he was getting numbers at the extent of the team, to the extent of the team. He was vacating that midfield, you know. Again, people think Bruno's a number 10, which is criminal. There's people out there that actually think Bruno is a number 10. Like, Bruno's never been number 10. So, again, it's one of them things where you can rate Bruno Fernandes, but when you're saying that there hasn't been a player better than him in 5 years, is there any surprise if you think that why Man United are in the state they're in? There's your answer. Rice definitely shows up for Arsenal. He might not be the best technically, but he was Arsenal's best player in both legs against Madrid last season. Kesa Soze says that. But again, that shows a low level of game understanding, really, in what you're looking at, because you're just basing it on because he was the best player against Madrid. What does that mean? What about the other games? Like, you know what I mean? What are you talking about? Like, come on, man. Like, do better than that. You know, as I said, Declan Rice is just a good player. That's it. But the way a lot of these fans talk about him, it's ridiculous. And it's like, again, he's a player that taps into fan psyche, because Declan Rice he's all action, he's all energy. You know, and the fans are emotional. You know, football fans are emotional. So Declan Rice will be right up their street, you know, because he's an emotional kind of player for these fans. That's it. I'm a Man United fan, Burhan. I'm a Man United fan, yeah. So again, my channel's about just giving my honest opinions, you know, and that's what I'll continue to do, you know. And as I said, if people that think Bruno Fernandes is the savior or whatever, you know, Bruno Fernandes has been he's been the biggest problem of this club for years. He has, whether people like it or not, you know, for many reasons that, again, I've spoken about plenty of times. Rick says, Ruben isn't stubborn, he is limited. I think he's both. I think he's both, you know. And his stubbornness is what's going to get him the sack. Because for so many reasons, yeah, why he hasn't even tried different things. And it's not a thing where you're going to say, you know, he's lost his kind of respect. Like, you're just not doing a good job and you're going to continue to keep doing the same thing. So, yeah, it's going to keep happening, unfortunately. So Burhan says, I'm also a PSG fan, Man United fan, Real Madrid fan. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, that's three teams there. Like, I'm a Man United fan, and my other favourite team is Barcelona. Not because of Yamal and Pedri, but because of the likes of R9, Ronaldinho, Messi, Neymar, Iniesta, Busquets, Xavi, Rivaldo, Javier Saviola, Patrick Kluivert. You know, the list goes on. So, again, yeah, it's one of them things, man. It's one of them things. But, guys, listen up. I said I was going to go earlier, but obviously some of you guys came in. And listen, those of you that have just come in, Burhan, James, and Rix, listen, it's not about agreeing with my opinion. You know, football's about dialogue. And whether we agree or not, you know, we keep it respectful. And, again, you have your opinion, I have mine. And that's what it's about. So, yeah, big up yourselves for coming through anyway. But, guys, listen, I'm going to have to shoot anyway. So tomorrow's Friday. I might be back tomorrow. Not sure what time. I think it might have to be an evening one. It definitely won't be in the morning. So it might have to be an evening one, maybe at 7:30. But again, we're definitely back on Saturday. I'm not going to do a watch along for the Man United and Brentford game. I'll probably just do a match reaction. But yeah, listen, big up yourselves for coming through each and every time. Guys, make sure you smash that like button if you've enjoyed the content today. And make sure you sub to the channel if you're new in here as well. And as I said, check out my other content. So the Ballon d'Or one I done the other day, you know, it's in chapters. So yeah, if you guys want to see me talk about things in particular, then check that out. But as I said, much appreciated you guys coming on and interacting with the channel. And as I said, smash the like button on the way out. Sub to the channel. And yeah, I'll probably catch you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.